Hours here, back with another reading, and this one is the 7 decks for 7 heavenly virtues. And I know it took me a minute to circle back around, but I have been traveling and just like enjoying life. I started my new podcast last week, so I've been wrapped up in that. The Magic Hours podcast, broadcasting every 2 weeks. Right now, you can find it on Apple Podcasts. I am working to have it posted elsewhere where you can, find it in different places. But for right now, you can find it on Apple Podcasts. I was about to say the seven deadly sins, but that is not the name of the podcast. The name of the podcast is the Magic Hours Podcast. Okay, let's go ahead and get into these heavenly virtues. So the first one is Prudence, your most practical all-purpose deck. So I was like, okay, which one do I settle on? And it actually was a toss-up between the Crow Tarot and the Sacred Destiny. First I was thinking Sacred Destiny, and then I was like, you know what, which one do I really grab that surprisingly is very all-purpose? And it is actually the Crow Tarot. And it's so interesting because I really love the Crow Oracle. And when I got this deck, I thought the images and things like that were going to be more in line with what the Crow Oracle was. That turned out not to be the case. And at first I wasn't 100% in love with the artwork and all of that. But yeah, I have since come to really appreciate the clarity of this deck. And it actually pairs really nicely with lots of other decks in my collection that I just did not expect. So this is my all-purpose deck, and that is the Crow Tarot. Oh, I just made a rhyme. Okay. And this is actually a VR to Antonia's Bliss, okay? Because we did the 7 deadly virtues, and Antonia felt like there needed to be just a little bit more balance, so she came up with the 7 heavenly virtues. So the second one is Justice, a deck you use to make decisions. So a lot of my decks I use to make decisions. This is a new one to my collection, and I found that I've been pulling it out a lot, and this is the Shamanic Medicine. I really like it. I'm looking for a tarot deck that will match with it. It does match with the Crow Tarot, but I'm looking for something a little bit more, I don't know, closer to it. But I really, really do like this deck. So again, this is one of the newer decks that I use to make decisions. I love it. Okay. What's next? Let's see. Fortitude. A deck that doesn't pull any punches. Well, hands down, that bad boy right there, or that bad gal right there, does not play any games. She does not. Listen, this deck was like brutal during the Halloween season. I mean, it scared me a little bit with how brutal it was. And I was like, oh shoot, maybe I need to go like cleanse and then, or like, do like an energy cleanse and meditate before I come back to this deck, because it really is not a game. And that is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain. I mean, again, it really, whew, brutal, honey, brutal. It might be the most brutal deck that I own, because it was, yeah, this baby doesn't pull any punches at all. So our next deck, dude, a deck pairing that you love. Now this was a challenge because it was a toss-up between the Antique Anatomy and the Enchanted Blossoms because those pair together really nicely. But I decided to go with the Roots and Wings and the Naked Heart Tarot. You know, this was one of the decks, the minute that it came, I was like, oh, these two. We belong together. Who you gonna lean on when times get rough? I mean, I just love. Look at this. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, usually when I travel, I take way too many decks with me. But I could honestly say I could just take these two decks and I think I would be perfectly fine. I mean, wow. And even though they feel very different, this is smoother. This has this really interesting, almost velvety feel. But again, and the size, you know, it's not really the same in that way, but you know, this is like slicker, I guess you would say. But look at this. Fam. It just goes on and on. On and on and on and on. So, yeah. So these are a favorite right now. These are like a favorite. I mean, I just, look at this. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. So that's that. Because seriously, I could just go through both of these decks. And we don't need to do that. I love that the snow is coming down. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. You know, it's so weird. I am a person who has always hated the snow. And it's like, I have really come to love the snow since I've been back in this part of the country. It's so weird. I grew up and the only thing I wanted to do was move away from the snow. And now I'm like, it didn't snow enough. It didn't snow enough. And just really coming to appreciate the seasons in a new way. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for the snow. Okay, what's next? Faith, a deck that you use for spiritual guidance. This was easy. Period. Period. Literally. I mean, girl. And shout out to all the tarot readers. You know, y'all have given me such inspiration. I'm growing this channel and I do private readings, obviously. But this is something completely different. All these challenges, and it's just so much fun. So shout out to all the readers. And I'm also wanting to partner with people. So if you're watching this or you've watched any of my videos and you think we might vibe, reach out and let's see if we can do some readings together, because I love to watch some of my, you know, favorite people reading together. And so I'm looking for that too. So if you're looking for that, reach out. I'll be there. Okay, what else we have? Hope. A deck for dark times. A hug deck. So, this was another toss-up between the Shine from the Inside and Sacred Destiny again. This was the winner though. This is the winner because it's so beautiful. And it's funny because I don't, yikes, just knocked my decks over. Yeah, and this is like in theory because technically I don't know, reach for decks for a hug or whatever. It's not really my thing. But if I was to do that, this would be the deck I would choose. And again, I use it a lot in readings with students, if I'm doing a self-care, when I was doing a lot of, in 2020, when I was teaching more, and I would do a self-care guidance for the month or for the week, and I would use this deck. I think the images are so beautiful, and I could just imagine that if somebody was feeling low, that this would be just an absolutely beautiful deck. So that's what I got. I just love it. I love the pastel. I do like pastel. I am a pastel girl. So, yeah. That's that. And then, finally, we have Charity. And that is a deck you would give to someone. So for me, that would be the good old universal, tried and true, as evidenced by this box. That would be the universal weight tarot. So, yeah. This would be a deck that I would 100% recommend or give somebody who was new to tarot, because it is, the quote-unquote original. It's the one that we're used to. And as somebody who taught myself, as I've said before, on pretty obscure decks, an Afro-Brazilian tarot deck, and the other one was this other obscure deck. I can't even think the name of it now. When I came upon this one, I was like, holy crap, like, this is so easy. This is why people start with this deck so often. But of course, I do things the roundabout way, sometimes making life more challenging than it needs to be. But yeah, that's the deck that I would definitely recommend to somebody who is new to this practice. So there you have it. The 7 decks for 7 heavenly virtues. I am Zoe Flowers. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you next time.